What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Crossblades podcast, where we talk about faith, pop culture, and everything in between. I am your host, Samek, and this is my co host.
Nico Wolfe.
And today we are doing a very special episode, for we are going to talk about our favorites.
Yes, our favorites, as in media and pop culture.
Heck yeah, brother.
Yes. So who would like to go first, you or me?
I'll be a gentleman and let you go first. So tell me, what is your favorite fandom?
My favorite fandom. Oh boy, I'm gonna probably get some hate for this, but I really don't care. I love the furry fandom. That is I've been a part of that for I've been a part of the furry fandom since 2018.
Just kidding.
It's okay. I get it. It's fine.
Or better one.
I think we might get a
In all
copyright strike
ser-
for that.
in all seriousness, though, what is so special about this fandom that you enjoy?
Well, for one thing, I love the creativity of the furry fandom specifically because coming from a place of I'm autistic. For those who don't know, um, I like to cosplay in some aspects of everything, and I believe that being a fursuiter is a form of cosplay. That's one reason, and we'll get into more about furries and stuff like that in a later episode. But I just wanted to say that I'm into the furry fandom.
Yeah, because it's essentially just cosplayers. It's
Yep.
not what most people think it is.
Yeah, but we'll get into that another time.
Yeah.
Um, Specifically, I've seen so much creativity with the colors, with the designs, with so many persona, and I'm like, wow, this is so based, and you know what I mean? It's so creative, and it does get my creative juices flowing in my head and everything whenever I create my persona, and I really love to be a part of a community like that. That's just so creative, and there are many Christian furries out there too, if you can believe that.
Hmm. No, I believe it.
Yeah, me being one of them. So yeah, what is your favorite fandom, my friend?
Well, my favorite fandom, not necessarily, I guess. Hmm. Favorite fandom. You see, that one's hard. I It's either a cross between Lord of the Rings
Mm-hmm.
or G.I. Joe.
I was suspecting GI Joe, knowing you.
I would. Part of me really wants to say GI Joe because I love the comics and I love. I grew up playing the toys.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was the GI Joe versus Cobra line during the early 2000s. That's what got me and my brothers started with it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only we had action figures, there were like these CG animated films.
Mm-hmm.
One was like a spy troops, and another was ninja battles. Valor versus Venom was the second one, but we didn't watch that one until much later
Okay.
because we could never find it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was honestly a little bit of a disappointment. But anyways, so when I was a teenager, I really got into the comics,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved how Larry Hama kind of based it around them being Vietnam War veterans, and
Mm-hmm.
that really affected because it was written in the '80s when Vietnam was still kind of fresh.
Yeah.
Um, and he, really created unique characters, diverse characters, honestly done the right way, and how it was, very, patriotism, but in the correct way because he did explore how the government really did screw over veterans. So it wasn't the blind patriotism; it was fighting for the citizens and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
But I will admit, a lot of members within the community, especially on social media, are kind of toxic
Yeah.
because there's different versions of GI Joe. People constantly complaining. When the Snake Eyes movie came out, granted it wasn't that great of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You
Was
kind
it
of saw the
animated?
worst. No, it was the live action one.
Oh boy, live action adaptations aren't always great.
It was one of those situations. It could have been so good.
Mm-hmm.
It had the foundations to be good, but
Mm-hmm.
it just yeah, but needless to say, it kind of brought the worst out of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love Lord of the. I'm probably gonna stick with GI Joe because I know a little bit more about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love the Lord of the Rings fandom because I mean, come on, how could you not?
Mm-hmm. Lord of the Rings is a classic, obviously, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't people who are listening, please do not get your pitchforks out and get your stakes and gasoline. But I've actually never read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings all the way through. I've only seen the
I
movies.
I have read The Hobbit. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't read Lord of the Rings yet. I have them. I'm going to read them. It's just everybody who's read Lord of the Rings, they will admit, yes, they're pretty long.
Yeah.
It's kind of a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most people within the fandom can agree that the Silmarillion is definitely the hardest read. Like my dad read it,
Mm-hmm.
and once it was done, he was like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, so that's I'm as of now, I really love the GI Joe fandom
Mm-hmm.
because I'm reading the comics. But I will admit, lately they don't have a lot to offer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Skybound has um, started publishing comics. You know, they rebooted them
Mm-hmm.
again.
Oh boy.
But I mean, I haven't even finished the Marvel run because the Marvel run had like 150 issues.
Oh wow.
I think I'm like on 110,
Mm-hmm. Is
and
that
then
like
I
a
got
big ambious book you have?
it was like I actually have the IDW republished
Mm-hmm.
into 15 volumes. I'm on volume. I'm on 10. I'm on 11. Yeah, I'm on 11.
Okay, makes sense.
And then I have to read the Devil's Due run
Mm-hmm.
after that. And
Yeah.
those were, I think, overall, they had 12 volumes.
Okay. Nice. What was the movie that you showed me that was on YouTube?
That was G.I. Joe Resolute.
Mm-hmm.
Most most fans consider that to be the best film
Mm-hmm.
adaptation
Mm-hmm.
because it it kind of it does have some things of the 80s show.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were reference to the 80s show. I personally didn't care. Well, most people crucify me for this. I didn't care for the 80s show because I felt it was way too goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the comics, even though they were technically geared for kids, they tackled serious subjects like war.
Yeah.
People actually died and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a really really neat animation style, and it also the action was very reminiscent of the 80s films.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you watched it, even though you're not really into GI Joe. Wouldn't you say that it was actually a really good?
Yeah, it was a
Really,
good, solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion.
yeah. Most people's biggest complaint was it was only an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It could have. I felt like it could have been longer,
Mm-hmm.
but it was very popular
Mm-hmm.
amongst the fans, and we all begged for more, and they never gave us any.
Yeah.
They just like, okay, this was popular. Let's never do it again.
Yep.
It just, yeah,
It's unfortunate.
yeah, but that's Hasbro for you. Can't do
Yeah.
anything right.
Yeah. But I have my own issues with Hasbro because they screwed over My Little Pony. But nah. Anyways, yeah, those are our favorite fandoms. What is next?
What's your favorite video game?
Favorite video game? Oh, that's a tough one. I have a top five. Can I give my top five and just explain my favorite one?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I'd say number one is Monster Hunter World. All right. Number two is what was number two? I'm trying to remember. Number two is probably Marvel Spider-Man, the first Marvel Spider-Man. Number three is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Number four, I believe, is Devil May Cry 5. And number five would probably be Minecraft.
Okay. All right. So, what do you love about those so much?
I love Monster Hunter World because of the fact that it's a gripping story where you have to fight against, these massive dragons and literally beat the crap out of dinosaur-like creatures and everything like that, and then grind, well, not grind them up, but cut them up and to turn them into armor and stuff. It's an interesting concept, and it was the first game that my IRL best friend Bracky introduced me to, and he literally gifted it to me, and he said, "Here, play this game, give it a shot." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll play it," and I fell in love with it. It's so good. Um, Samek here, on the other hand, he did not care for Monster Hunter World.
I love the concept. I loved the world building and the aesthetic.
Hmm.
I just I just found the gameplay to be very sluggish,
Yeah.
very slow,
Hmm.
and trying to find the monster was kind of a pain. I did like Monster Hunter Rise.
Hmm.
I did like that one.
I will tell you, and no spoilers, in Monster Hunter Wilds, they fixed that issue.
Okay, then I'll give that one a shot.
Yeah, they fixed that issue. Like literally, you can literally press up on your if you're on your thing that you ride, your creature that you ride. I'm not gonna spoil what it's called, but if you're on top of it and you're riding it, you can press up on your controller, and it'll literally take you right to the monster. No problem.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's nice. It does bug out sometimes if you know, but it for the most part it works.
Cool.
Yeah. So another thing about Monster Hunter I really loved is the cutscenes and the cinematics. Those are chef's kiss. I love the cinematics in Monster Hunter World. They're so good.
I think those were actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. So um, I'd say yeah, Monster Hunter World is my top number one favorite game right now. And yeah, but you on the other hand, what's your favorite game?
So my top five. I'll go ahead and throw in an honorable mention too because it's a very underrated game.
Sure.
My number one favorite game is Ghost of Tsushima.
Ah, I thought so.
My number two would be Last of Us Part One,
Hmm.
just Part One,
Hmm.
just Part One. I'm okay. I do admit that game is a little glazed,
Hmm.
especially now. Sony really keeps they release a new edition of it every time you turn around. I get it, but I still love it.
Hmm.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered campaign.
Hmm.
The Mass Effect. I know this is technically three games, but I consider it one. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Hmm. I want to
Trust
play
me,
that.
you've got to play that. Dead Space 2.
Oh yeah,
That was probably the most intense game I've ever played.
it's
With an
gnarly.
honorable with an honorable mention, Sleeping Dogs. That is a
Okay,
very underrated game.
I've you can explain yours in 1 second, but I want to give an honorable mention too. An
Okay,
honorable mention for me would be what is that game called? Evil West. Evil West was great.
that was a good one. That
Yeah,
was a
the
really
only problem with Evil West is on the PC version, the multiplayer final level is bugged to all heck.
good. Yeah.
But aside from that, that game, I played it with him. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, so
It
good.
was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, like one of the why I love Ghost of Tsushima so much is one. I mean, I love history. I love the medieval era. I love the because technically a lot of Japanese history was within the medieval era.
Mm-hmm.
Medieval isn't just Europe; it's Japan. But medieval is just a time period. I love that history era because just I mean the weapons, the armor, the cultures are just so unique. But the story is what really stood out to me because um, I didn't grow up with a lot of the big consoles. I grew up with a Sega Genesis and a Wii and a DS.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was finally, what I think I was 21, essentially, no, it was 2021. I had a job, so I had my own money,
Mm-hmm.
so I got a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So from playing a Wii and a jump to a PS5 was a huge graphical jump.
Oh yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima was one of the first games I played it. And I remember just watching because I had that's one of the reasons why I got the PS5 was just to play Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just sitting there with the opening when you start charging in on the beach towards the Mongols, and just I was just captivated. I was in awe.
Mm-hmm.
it was my first big open world game.
Hmm.
Just riding through the lands, through the forests, through the beach. It was just, dude, trust me, you've got to play the game. It's beautiful. But one of the things that really caught me was, of course, the combat. But the story is just one of my favorite stories.
Hmm.
It it really is just top tier.
It
It
just goes to show that good storytelling is still around. It's just very rare.
mm-hmm. It is. I'm I'm excited for the sequel. I'm I'm hoping they don't screw it up because we all know the curse of the PlayStation sequels.
Yes, we do.
The gameplay looks incredible. I'm just hoping the story is good.
Hmm.
But yeah, it just, man, Ghost Tsushima is just, I would love for Sucker Punch to make a similar game but medieval Europe.
Yeah.
That would be that would literally be the perfect game in my opinion.
Didn't they? Didn't they, it wasn't Sucker Punch, but didn't our studio make a game like that called Kingdom Come Deliverance?
Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's not really a Ghost of Tsushima. It's first person.
Hmm.
Two, it is all about realism.
Hmm.
So much so to the point to where it's a very rather repetitive, and
Ah.
it's very grindy.
Ah. Like
And
Destiny.
well, not Destiny, but in a different way, because you
Okay.
gotta like have enough resources to, you have to watch your stamina. You gotta watch your what you eat, what you drink, traveling and stuff like that. The combat is very hard because it's actually based off real medieval combat.
Okay.
Like they literally copied it from the old textbooks.
Gotcha.
That I really appreciate from. I really appreciate that. It's just very, it's rough. It's brutal. It's one of those hardcore games, I guess you could say.
It reminds me of a mod pack for an old mod pack for Minecraft called Blood and Bones, where you literally, if you eat too many of the same items, you literally get sick, and you can only get so much hunger and benefit from them. So
Okay.
yeah, and then if you die in hardcore mode, it's game over. You're done, and you literally, if you get hit by a mod, you literally bleed on the ground and everything, and you can bleed out.
Ooh.
Yeah, so but unfortunately, I've tried that mod pack, and since it's outdated, the worlds don't generate properly anymore, so you can't play it anymore. Unfortunately, otherwise, it was a great mod pack when it was around.
I get you.
Um, but yeah, I just want to rave on Evil West for a second because that game just was very captivating. Wouldn't you agree?
It was. I mean, essentially the premise is it was an alternate history to what if during the Old West we were hunting vampires,
Yep.
and it kind of has that Nikola Tesla, industrial fantasy esque
Hmm.
look to it, kind of a steampunk
Hmm.
to it. And it's just the way you beat up vampires. You literally have this gauntlet with blades on it, and you just beat the ever like crap out of them. And you've got, you know, guns that you can really upgrade from bullets to literally lightning bolts.
Yep.
And you have a part of the gauntlet is electricity, so you can electrocute the
Mm.
vampires and stuff. It felt very similar to a PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era game,
Yeah.
but with modern graphics. That's honestly what was great about it.
Yeah.
It's just my biggest problem with it was, aside from the bugs, it it got way too hard near the end, in my opinion. It
Hmm.
was like borderline Souls like at the end.
Oh yeah, I can agree. We literally tried. Like, how many times did we attempt that final level? Because we made it to the final level.
We made it to the final level, but there was a bug to where the enemies kept regenerating, so
Yeah.
we couldn't push forward,
Yeah.
and it I think we tried like 10 times. So, what is your favorite book?
Favorite book? All right, I'm gonna have a controversial take here, but my favorite book is called Unwind.
Tell me about this book.
Sure. And you might not agree with some of the viewpoints in it, of course, because I know your standpoints on a lot of views, but just hear me out, okay? So in Unwind, this is a dystopian version of our world where there was a war that happened because of the issue of abortion. All right, and because of this, there was to appease both sides, the left and the right. There was a bill that was signed called the after the Heartland War. Okay, that's what it was called. And there's a bill that was signed into law that would allow both sides to be appeased. And essentially, what happened is that after the age of 13, I believe, yeah, 13, a child, if an unwanted child is unwanted by their family or parents, they are sent off to be unwound. Okay, and take a guess what that means.
Are they pulled apart?
Yes, they're taken apart and used in donation organs surgeries. Now, here's the thing. Here's
How in the
where,
world was that appease both sides?
because if you read the book, and this technology has come so far in this universe to where all you are still alive, but you are in a divided state. Literally every body part
Okay,
is
that actually
still
sounds
work.
that sounds pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a great concept and a great book. All right, so there's three kids, okay, named Lev, not Roland. Roland's a character later. Connor and Riza. Connor is just a problem child, and he is unwanted by his parents, and so he's sent off to be unwound. But he is a renegade, and he's on the run from the government, so that because he's going to be unwound and stuff like that. Risa is also a renegade. She is a ward of the state, and she's also sent to be unwound because she is no longer deemed useful to society, and she's in in foster care. So she's like, whatever, just send her to be unwound. Lev, and this is where the story actually gets good, is actually comes from a religious family, and he is the 10th kid in his family, and he is being given as a tithe to be unwound. I'm not kidding about that. It takes religion too into its own hands, and oh my gosh, the concept in this book and the storytelling and the things that are addressed, the morality and the problems that are addressed. Oh my gosh, so good. It's dark, but it's really good.
That actually sounds pretty wild.
Oh yeah, I had to read this book in high school because it was the author Neil Schusterman also wrote the book called Scythe, which is another one of my favorite books. But Unwind is better than Scythe in my opinion. And Scythe is, I'll explain that on our time. But we read it, the entire book, from start to finish, and I literally begged my teacher to get the sequel because of how much I loved it. And we read the beginning of the sequel during my senior year of high school. We didn't get to finish it, unfortunately, because stuff got in the way. But we did finish the first book, and oh my gosh, just chef's kiss. Love that book. All right, what's your favorite book?
That's pretty wild. That sounds pretty wild. Well, of course the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking on fiction books, you see, this is a hard one because I grew up reading quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and I still read. I've gotten back into reading,
Mm-hmm.
but if I have to pick one, I would pick
House.
House by Frank Peretti and Ted Decker.
Oh, it's a collab.
So the premise of this one is it's essentially a faith based horror.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off the stereotypical a group of people meet each other in an abandoned house,
Mm-hmm.
but how I honestly need to read it again because it was really good. I read it like 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially the things that follow afterward, because what I really liked about it was the protagonists are actually not stupid for once.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like, hey, let's split up. Like there's a bunch of mind games that force them to split up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the whole, hey, let's split up without any weapons. Like, they one of them literally ends up with a gun
Mm-hmm.
and stuff still ends up going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the message of it was really cool, but it was like because it was I literally it's a pretty thick book. It's probably about that big,
Mm-hmm.
and I read it in 2 days.
Oh wow, you
It
liked
was
it
it
that much?
it was intense. I was like, I was just it was a page turner for sure,
Yeah. Uh,
and how it especially really got into the psychological uh, trauma and just the psychology of the characters.
mm-hmm.
because essentially the house, it was kind of a parallel to like their personal issues,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like their traumas. That
Mm-hmm.
and then the house. What was his name? Arsidious White was the main villain. He would essentially kind of take that and start, psychologically screwing with them.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild.
I'm assuming that he was using demonic powers, correct?
If I remember correctly, yes, because I think technically was he supposed to be a demon? I you see, I remember some of it, but there's some of it. It's been like I said, it's been like 10 years ago since I
Mm-hmm.
read it, so I
It's
forgot.
okay.
But yeah, I it was one of those books that even though I've forgotten some of it, it kind of left an imprint on me because it was good.
Mm-hmm. Ted Decker and Frank Peretti are really great writers in the Christian,
Oh, they are.
and that just goes to show that even Christian writers can write actual good books. They aren't just
Mm-hmm.
mushy and and just how the writing.
Hallmarky.
Yeah, yeah, malarkey. Yeah,
Everything's a Hallmark movie. Everything's peaches and cream. No, no. If you read any of Ted's and Frank's books, you know that they tackle some very dark subjects, but they do it really tastefully.
yeah. I loved Frank Peretti with the Cooper Kids. That was I couldn't remember it in the first episode, but it's the Cooper Kids.
Mm-hmm.
The Curse of Toko Ray was so good.
I haven't read those yet. I need to check those out.
Yeah, you should. All right. What's next on the list?
What is your favorite comic book or manga?
Okay, we all know what's coming. That would be Bleach. I love Bleach for the fact of the matter is that I relate to Ichigo as a character, mainly because Bleach's story starts out innocent enough where a kid meets a god of death or a Shinigami, and they are sent to our world to exterminate demons. Okay, and so it starts out simple enough, but then the Shinigami or god of death, well, in the English dub they're called Soul Reapers, but they she is injured and has to transfer her powers to Ichigo. Her name is Rukia. I love Ichigo and Rukia and their dynamic, but anyways, but in the
They live.
no, no. No, no.
I'm sorry, messing with you.
Rukia is thousands of years old. No, hundreds, sorry, hundreds of years old. And Ichigo is only 15. That would never work. Okay?
Well, I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to make a bad joke.
No, you're good. So she transferred her powers to him. He defeats the demon that injured her. And now he has the job of being a substitute Soul Reaper. Which means he has to do her job because she lost all of her powers because they're now inside of him. All right. So that's how the story begins, and it just keeps going and building and building and building. It just gets better and better and better as time goes on. Once you get through the Soul Society arc of Bleach, oh my gosh, you're gonna be like your mind will be blown of how good the story writing is, in my opinion. I think that I the only problem is when I did it with you, I started you at the Thousand Year Blood War, which is the final arc of Bleach, which maybe gave it a bad taste in your mouth. But if you start from the first episode, the very first episode, I think you'd actually maybe enjoy it, but I'm not gonna force that upon you. Just my opinion.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
So my favorite graphic novel, it would be considered a graphic novel, is the GI Joe. It was the Devil's Due run,
Mm-hmm.
the Master and Apprentice arc.
Mm-hmm.
That one is probably one of the most emotional arcs in the entire GI Joe storyline
All right.
because it's essentially Kamakura's origin. Kamakura is Snake Eyes' apprentice
Mm-hmm.
because essentially it kind of starts out with Snake Eyes had another apprentice, Sophia, and on the night where she was supposed to be initiated into the Arashikage clan,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Firefly ends up killing her in front of Snake Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know Snake Eyes, he has already lost a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
His brother well, not real brother, but his sword brother Storm Shadow had already been brainwashed into following Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're sworn enemies. His sister and his parents were killed in a car accident. His the hard master who raised him as a son within the Arashikage clan was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So now his apprentice was killed.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, it's kind of him and Kamakura going on a mission to get revenge.
Okay.
And it also kind of weaves in Kamakura's has his own little arc with his father, and Cobra gets involved. Storm Shadow gets involved. It's a really good story. I don't want to say too much because it'll spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
But even though Snake Eyes, he's a silent warrior because he can't speak.
Mm-hmm.
They managed the artists managed to give so much emotion through Snake Eyes just by either the look on his face, because at this point Snake Eyes had reconstructed his face, so he doesn't have scarring anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He literally just through his mannerisms and his is it just the look on his face, you could just see so much emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way the story was told, it's one of my favorite G.I. Joe stories and just one of my favorite comic books ever.
Yeah, sounds like it. I'm gonna say, can I go back to Bleach for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so for me with Bleach, one of my favorite story arcs in Bleach is I love the entire story of Bleach entirety, but one of my favorite story arcs is the Lost Agent arc or Lost Soul Reaper arc. I love that one because it shows Ichigo at his lowest point ever in the story. People say, oh, his lowest point was in the Thousand Year Blood War. No, his lowest point was in the Lost Agent arc. Specifically because he loses everything. Everything that he loves. Everything that he, strives towards. Because his power is taken away. All right? All of his powers are taken away. And he's literally left to be a human being. And he literally screams at the protagonist, which I'm not going to spoil it. He screams at the protagonist to give his powers back. He says, why should I? I helped you get them, so they should be mine anyways. And then, not going to spoil it, but what happens next, I love it so much. Maybe I should say what happens. It's been out for like 20 years at this point. Yeah, anyways, I'm just going to say it. So, Rukia has a sword and stabs him with it that contains the spiritual pressure, which is spiritual pressure is like the how do I explain this? Spiritual pressure is like the gauge of how powerful a Soul Reaper is. Okay, if you have a high spiritual pressure, that means you are very powerful. All right, so it has the spiritual pressure of almost every Shinigami or Soul Reaper within the Soul Society, at least all of his friends that he knows, and like Kenpachi, Renji, Byakuya, Ikaku, all that stuff, Toshiro, all those characters, and she stabs him with it, and he becomes a new entirely new Soul Reaper because of that. All right, and he gets his powers back because he lost his powers in the previous arc, which was the Fall of the Arrancar, because he was trying to defeat Aizen, who is the main villain. And he is actually not the one who defeats Aizen. It was actually Kisuke who defeats Aizen, but that's beside the point. So, but the reason why I say he gets to his lowest point is because when he loses his powers, just as he gained them, he just got his new powers back to protect his friends, and that's his ultimate goal, is to protect his friends and family. You see him literally on his knees in the rain, sobbing and crying, just like a little you know what. Yeah. But it's not because he is one, it's because he literally feels at his lowest point. And that is so relatable. Like losing everything. Like all of your goals are just shattered. So, but I will say, in the end, the guy who stole his powers dies. And he kills him. He's the only person Ichigo ever kills in the entire story.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same thing with Snake Eyes in this arc when I forget exactly how Kamakura worded it, but he was like, not a sound was uttered through Snake Eyes, but you could see, because he's literally just holding Sophia's dead body, and he's just blankly just staring into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you not a word was uttered from his mouth, but you could see that
Mm-hmm.
he was broken, that he
Mm-hmm.
was destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And then literally because he was so distraught and he was hell bent on revenge, he literally goes to his fiancee Scarlett,
Mm-hmm.
hands her his wedding ring, and just leaves.
Oof. That's
And
a
that definitely put a strain on their relationship later on. Of course, they get to be back together later, but that was definitely a oh moment.
yeah, yeah. I got you, man. Um, Another thing I wanted to say about Bleach and this arc is that actually I take that back. I think Ichigo only kills two people in the entirety of Bleach. Okay, I think that would be Ginjo, who is in the Lost Agent arc, and then Yuha, who is in the Thousand Year Blood War, which is the guy with the Quincy's. If I know, he cuts him in half, and I'm pretty sure he does kill him.
Solomon on him.
What?
I say go Solomon on him.
Yeah, yeah.
Please, please tell me y'all get that joke.
I get it. Yeah. Um, but so in terms of Bleach, I love the storytelling. I love the lore behind the swords, which are called Zanpakuto, and how you have to learn the name of Zanpakuto in order to in order to summon it or make it release its power and everything. And I love the dynamic between Ichigo and Zangetsu, which is his Zanpakuto. Essentially, a Zanpakuto is literally part of your soul, and it's just a part of you. So your Zanpakuto spirit is literally a manifestation of your own self. So it's really really cool. Um, yeah, but I could go on and on about Bleach for hours because I love it so much, but I'm
We
not going
would
to.
be on our time, so we need to move on.
It's okay.
All right. Okay, hold on. We did fandom, we did book, we did comic book or manga.
Yeah,
What is your favorite TV show? Which, which I know the answer. It's let me guess.
it's Bleach.
Okay, we don't really. You we've talked enough about Bleach.
But okay. I will say
Uh,
we when we get to our favorite movie, that's a different story. That is still Bleach related, but it has relevance. I promise.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. But if you want to
All
talk
right.
about non-anime TV show, I do have a few. I do like the Dick Van Dyke Show, which is a classic, if you know that one.
I haven't seen that one, but I know what it is.
All of the episodes are actually on YouTube if you want to watch them. Some of them are actually really good.
Okay.
Before the whole sitcoms got woke, but this was way before that time. This was like I
Oh
think in
yeah,
the '60s, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. So
yeah. It was in the 60s.
I love the Dick Van Dyke Show. Amazing World of Gumball is another one. I love classic Scooby Doo stuff like What's New Scooby Doo, Scooby Doo Where Are You? Um, what else? I like what else do I watch? I like Pawn Stars. I was watching that just a few minutes ago.
I used to watch that. It just kind of got old after a while.
Yeah, Pawn Stars does get old if you watch it too much. Controversial opinion. I think Cops is also good because it just shows a bunch of idiots getting what's coming to them. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else I like. Regular Show. Regular Show is hilarious.
I have actually have not seen that one.
The
I mean,
first three seasons of Regular Show are really good in my opinion, but after that, it
that's
kind of
usually how it goes.
falls off and gets into a whole bunch of like plots that don't make any sense. So, but Regular Show, first three seasons, awesome. All right.
So
What about you?
my favorite TV show would I'll list a couple other ones I enjoyed after this one, but I'm just gonna be honest. My favorite TV show is SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Oh yeah.
I love SpongeBob. Do I even need to explain why?
No, you had a SpongeBob T-shirt literally in one of our episodes. You do not need
Yeah.
to explain.
Now, yes, first three seasons were the greatest. The first movie was awesome. Seasons 4, 5, and 6, I would still say were pretty good.
Mhm.
But after that, they just needed to stop.
Yeah.
I
It's
heard that the second movie was pretty good. I just haven't seen it yet.
I've seen it.
But
It's all right. It's not terrible. It's all right.
But yeah, like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, I could pretty much quote that entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who blew this bubble?
Yep. Yep. Classic.
But I grew up watching the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That
Mm-hmm.
was one of my favorites growing up. I
Mm-hmm.
know most people want to say 2012. I'm like, no, it's 2003
Yeah.
because Peter Laird, one of the co-creators of the original comic, worked on that show.
Did you know that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of the voice actors from Adventures in Odyssey, the voice actor for Jason Whittaker, Mr. Whittaker's son, I believe he voices one of the Ninja Turtles in that series.
I'm gonna go look that up.
Townsend
I'm not
Coleman, I think
sure.
his name is Townsend Coleman.
I don't remember the names of the voice actors, so um, I'll go look it up. But also grew up watching Stargate. That was a really good one.
What's Stargate?
It's a science fiction TV show.
Ah, okay.
Essentially this secret military finds a portal to
Mm-hmm.
other worlds, and they start exploring,
Sounds a little bit like
and
Danny
they start
Phantom.
and then they start fighting against the Goa'uld, like these parasitic aliens, then the
Mm-hmm.
replicators, and I will admit, I it went on a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
It was 10 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 9, it's like instead of wrapping up, because it was one of those situations where they had a lot of unfinished arcs,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of finishing those arcs in seasons 9 and 10, for one, the lead character left the show and they replaced him with someone else. Granted, that character was good,
Mm-hmm.
nothing against him or the actor, but then they just literally created like these literally space wizards that they had to fight later on, and it just got so dumb after that. But
Yeah.
MacGyver was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Both featured the same actor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. I really liked, well, it's goofy now, but when I was a kid, I loved Walker Texas Ranger. But now
Mm-hmm.
when I go and watch it again, I'm like, this is stupid.
I think we go back to some of the shows we're watching and feel that way.
Yeah, Three Stooges, classic comedy. I love that show. And
Popeye.
Looney Tunes. I haven't seen. I've only seen like 3 episodes of him.
I've
No,
seen a couple.
6. But and Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes, classic Looney Tunes, and Tom and Jerry.
But yeah, SpongeBob is my favorite TV show.
Okay, nice. So,
So I guess this leaves us to the last question.
mhm.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
Uh, what? What is your favorite color? Blue. We do so. No, I'm just kidding. Monty Python reference.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
All right. My favorite movie of all time, so far at least, is Bleach Hellverse, and there's a reason for that. All right. My reasoning is because I love as I love Bleach, I love the storytelling, and I love the message behind it. Okay, because the message behind it is that you cannot overcome evil or revenge with more revenge. You can't overcome evil with evil. You have to do what is right in order to overcome what is wrong. All right. So, in the story of Bleach Hellverse, there are these souls who escape from hell because they kidnap Ichigo's sister. I believe her name was Yuzu. They kidnap Yuzu, and they drag her to hell and stuff because they want Ichigo to set them free of their chains, because they're bound to hell by chains. If you break the chains, you're essentially, you can break through it, you can get through the wall. All right, not the wall, the doors, the gates of hell. Okay, so Ichigo goes to hell with a guy named Kokuto, who supposedly is trying to help him because he says he doesn't like how those guys operate. But we all know that he's the actual mastermind behind the whole thing. So he says, "All right, you were supposed to get so mad at this guy named Shuren, who had your sister captivated and stuff, for you to holify, which holify means to go into his demon form, because he has a part demon because he's part hollow, And he says, that was the plan, but it didn't go exactly to plan, so I'm going to tell you this right here and now. Do that, set me free, and the game will be over. That doesn't go to plan either, because Ichigo does holofy and he does break some of Kokuto's chains, but in the process, he breaks the gates of hell, and all hell breaks loose into the world of the living. All right? So, with that, the Soul Society and the captains of the Soul Society have to contain the chaos that has been brought loose and stuff. But Yuzu is fine and she survives. She has a chain form on her chest, but it breaks and disintegrates after she's brought back into the world of the living. But Ichigo's friends are left behind in hell because he was only able to escape with that, him and Yuzu, his sister. So he has to go back to hell and rescue his friends, which it's how the story usually goes. His goal is to protect his friends and family. So at the end of the movie, he almost holifies again and goes into his demon form again, but he says, "No, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm not going to let this take over me because I'm pissed off at you, Kokuto, for what you've done. But the thing is that what you're doing is childish, all right? Because Kokuto, his goal was to get out of hell because he went to hell because he murdered people who killed his family and sister, okay? Because that's why he's in hell, because he committed murder, all right? So with that, he where was I? Yeah, at the end. So Ichigo tells him, "What you're doing is childish. You can't overcome hatred with more hatred." And he literally has one of the guardians of hell slam their hand down on him, and he absorbs the guardian, and he has a whole new form. Okay, and he says, "It's like the forces of hell never didn't give me these powers to exact revenge on you. They wanted me to stop you. All right." And he's like, "Hell's cooperating with a human? That's not possible. We're literally the same kind of people." He says, "No. In the end, I'm just another human, just like yourself." And in the end, Kokuto is punished and dragged down to hell for all eternity by chains, even though Ichigo breaks his chains, but then more chains come up out of hell and then drag him down to the depths. And then he saves his friends, and they live happily ever after. But as I said, the great storytelling of this is that you can't overcome hatred or revenge with more evil. And I love that story, and I love that message. So, yeah, great movie.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah.
My favorite movie, I honestly really don't have to explain, is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Oh, yes.
Extended version.
Extended version, you say?
Yes, my favorite movie is an almost 5 hour movie. But seriously, like I said, do I even need to explain it? It's like it's so good. The entire trilogy is fantastic. Extended cuts, the brotherhood, the friendship, good versus evil, overcoming the darkness that is eating away at your soul, uniting together for the greater good. Just the cinematography, the music, the visual effects,
Excuse me.
everything about it, everything. It is literally that is literally closest to the perfect movie. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect movie, but that's damn near close.
Oh yeah, I would argue that Bleach Hellverse is a good perfect movie. If you know nothing about Bleach, you don't have to know about Bleach to see how good of a movie Bleach Hellverse was, in my opinion. The animation in it is stellar.
Cool.
It's not anime level animation. It's movie level animation, and it is. Oh my gosh, just so good.
Kind of like how the Cowboy Bebop movie upped its animation compared to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
At least for the time being. It came out in 2012, I believe. So it's not, as good as the animation we have today, but it's still pretty good.
I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. Some of those animes back in the 90s, in my opinion, look better than a lot of the new stuff.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Like Genro, that animation was peak.
Yeah, I think that surprisingly that there are a lot of like I think like the grittiness and stuff are not like is not really shown very much anymore, like compared to like the manga, you know.
But
The grittiness of one's story in most anime and manga nowadays compared to the
a
manga to the anime, you know what I'm saying? The grittiness and the
yeah,
harshness
yeah.
is not
Well,
always there.
it depends. It just depends on the show because there are some that I mean, I haven't seen that many anime,
Mm-hmm.
but I've heard of some that have stuck pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're thinking about Berserk, I mean, good grief, they had to tone that down.
I'm not talking about Berserk.
Like,
I'm using Bleach as an example, but I know why
yeah.
it was toned down. It was toned down because the original anime was on a earlier TV block than the Thousand Year Blood War was. The Thousand Year Blood War was at a later TV block in Japan, so it could play uncensored for the most part.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which it
Because okay,
sucks, but it's just how it
it's
is.
weird. Like Japan has some of the most violent content out there, but yet they have some really weird censorship laws.
Yeah,
It's it's weird, but oh well.
yeah. Unfortunately,
Like good grief, they censored the Dead Space remake, which
isn't
is which is one of the reasons why we're probably not going to get a remake of the second game.
really
Yeah, EA said that although it was successful over here, Japan, there's the Japan sales kind of
tanked.
really really boost stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they said like I think they banned it over there, and it because of that EA was like, well, I guess we're not going to make a sequel, even though it was decently successful. But
Mm. Well, we still have the original, so
I mean, we have the original, true, but it still would have been cool for them to update it for modern consoles and stuff like that.
yeah. Oh well, it sucks.
Yeah,
All right, we're about almost 45-minute mark. What do you think?
I mean, I think we can stop here.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Crossblades podcast, where we talk about faith, pop culture, and everything in between.
Heck yeah, brother.
All righty. Hope you guys have enjoyed. We will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.